Okay, let's talk about prepays, what they are, what they aren't, what we want to know about them. Now would be a good time to take out the prepay worksheet and follow along. It's a pretty simple form to fill out, but we thought a little review might be helpful. Now, if you don't have any prepays, that's fine. Just write NA across the top of the worksheet and still send it back to us. Before we start, let's define what a prepay is. So a prepay is when you collect money up front before rendering a service. In other words, you get paid in advance. Sometimes prepays are referred to as memberships or care packages. However, prepays are not accounts receivables. They are actually an accounts payable. And there is an important distinction between accounts receivables and accounts payables. And in fact, they're the exact opposite. When you have an accounts receivable, that means you perform the service first and collect money later. Whereas a prepay or an accounts payable, it's the exact opposite. You take money first, you take it up front, and then at a later time, you perform the service. For those of you who have prepays, we'll want to know a little bit more about them. First of all, what's your current balance of prepays? It could be a couple $1,000s, it could be tens of thousands of dollars. Whatever that figure is, just let us know. Then we'll also want to know if you keep your prepays in a separate escrow account. Some people do, some people don't. And then we'll also want to know how you keep track of those prepays. Do you lump them in with the rest of your accounts receivables, or do you manage them completely separate in a different account? Now, ideally, you would handle them separately because they are different. They're accounts receivables and accounts payables, but we know that's not always the case. So again, just explain your process to us so we understand how you keep track of your prepays. And finally, if you have any associates, have any of them been paid a percentage of that prepaid money? Before we leave the topic of prepays, I just wanted to make a couple of comments. It's always a good idea to keep a very careful accounting of prepaid money. I say this because a patient at any time could walk through your door and request a refund. Also, if you're going to be selling your practice, please note that any prepaid money will need to be transferred to the buyer at closing. So to recap the major takeaways from this video, let us know whether you have this or not. Tell us what the current balance of your prepays is. Let us know how you keep track of your prepays. And if you have any associates, have they been paid a percentage of any prepaid money?